Hey everyone, welcome first-time listeners and returners to the Sports Deli. We're so grateful to our sponsor, SportRx. You can find them online at sportrx.com or call them at 888-831-5817. They are the leader in sports prescription eyewear. So again, you can go to sportrx.com and enter the code DELI10 for your 10% discount. You can always send us an email to thesportsdeli, deli is DELI, thesportsdeli@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram at Mike Hootner or on Twitter at Michael Hootner. We are now joined by Lindsay Gottlieb, assistant basketball coach for the NBA's Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, thanks so much for having me. That's the full rundown. You didn't miss anything. I thought you were going to give the name of my second grade teacher or when I got in trouble in junior high. But appreciate the kind welcome and happy to be here and talk some hoops.
So, Coach, I want to start with this. And I know you've lost a lot of things in your life. You seem to have incredible relationships with people, but there's just something different about how you approach life and basketball and people. And so you have that it factor, and not everybody has it.
Well, I mean, I really appreciate it. I think that's, one of the highest compliments I've received. When it comes to basketball, I'll say this till I have no more breath. You have to have great players and great people around you. And I would say my approach to coaching is about relationships, and it's about preparation. Right? Coaching, really is about serving the team, serving the players, making other people great at what it is they want to do. I was going to talk about Joanne Boyle. So as you mentioned, I sort of realized while I was in college that I wanted to be a college coach. And then I've learned from a lot of other people. I mean, the proximity to, Tara Vanderveer, you mentioned her. She's about any day now going to tie Pat Summitt's record for all-time wins in women's college basketball. She's currently the number one team in the country. I mean, I don't even think it gets talked about enough what a great coach she is. So just the proximity across the bay to be able to coach against her and pick her brain was wonderful. So the differences are more in, JB's nuanced understanding of the NBA. I mean, from offensive and defensive schemes to what makes guys tick to how you handle training camp versus 3 games in 4 nights. And it's just, JB blows me away with his knowledge and his skill in dealing with people, because you need both.
Give everyone an idea of how insanely different it is from the beginning of last year to now.
Funny, it's my second year in the NBA, and neither year has been entirely smooth, right? We had a coaching change in year 1, and now we're in COVID. So at some point, maybe I'll get a smoother year, but going forward, there's a 158-page book. But the main thing is there's multiple testing per day.
And, tell everyone about, how that story is a good story.
Yeah. So the word is the front office, and Dan, they want to see a scouting report, what goes into it. So are you ready with your Boston Scout? I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'll be ready. So here I am, not only my first scout in the NBA, but now I'm doing it, at the owner's home, in front of the owner, his family, and the entire front office. But to tell you the truth, that moment presenting the scout, sitting on a sofa between Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, was the single most comfortable I had felt from the time I got the job. And to answer your original question about, my take on Dan Gilbert, I have been so just impressed, in awe of being an employee of the Rock family of companies, because we don't feel like we're just an employee of the Cavs organization. He's got a family of companies, and
you have a biracial son, right? Your husband does he identify as African American?
Yep, he's black. Yep.
Okay, so he's black, and so I want you to talk a little bit to educate people more than anything else, because we're going through a racial reckoning. We've had Dr. Richard Lapchick on. We've had a number of people talk about this. You've admitted that there's white privilege. You're a part of white privilege. So am I. And we have this platform. You have a bigger one than I do. But, more white people, especially owners, have to, like Dan, have to do more to speak on it?
I think, in fact, that's one of the more patriotic things you can do. I care about this country enough to help get us to where it should be. So I think what this summer has been is just, maybe a reckoning point within an ongoing spectrum of history that you hope continues to push in a certain way. And I was really proud. I mean, just to speak for a second, you mentioned the Wubble. The women of the WNBA, particularly Black women who make up a majority of that league, have always been the first to stand up, to speak out, to do so at greater risk than anybody else because they don't have millions and millions stored up in the bank. And also, the players of the NBA who showed a ton of courage. I think this summer to say, this is the most important thing right now for us to speak on, and they still have to do their jobs, but to be able to bring the type of awareness that they did and do the work that they did, I think was incredible. And, people ask me all the time about, my willingness to use my platform, my willingness to say, particularly as a white female, where we have unique privilege. Is it because, you have a Black husband or you have a biracial son? And number one, I would start with my parents who, kind of gave me an understanding of the responsibility, relative to social justice. But even, before I had my son, to live in the world of Cal women's basketball, where I was surrounded by a mostly, Black team of women, and to see the world from their perspective, and to see the work that they did to try to, all the time, consciously and subconsciously break down barriers. Like, to me, that was one of the most inspirational, things about my time at Cal. So I do think the owners, in the NBA were really receptive. This year, they quickly turned around, making all the arenas polling places. Rocket Mortgage was a polling place. We jumped on a Zoom call with Dan Gilbert at one point. I was so, really pleased by just his true empathy with our players and wanting to, help them create change. But it's not just the owners in the NBA. I think across the country, the people who have money and the people who have power, need to continue to do things to diversify, the wealth gap, to diversify positions of power, and to just, make this country more equitable for all of its people.
Yeah, and just educate people a little bit about, what happened at the airport, and, if someone sees that, how they should stand up and back someone that's going through that kind of situation.
My ultimate takeaway is I'm a white female who never gets stopped anywhere because I'm a white female, right? Like, I go through security things. I don't, worry about a traffic stop. I don't, I live in that privileged world. But I do remember, again, when I was at Cal, walking through airports with, women who looked different than me. They would get stopped more often. They would get asked questions. And so I did feel like, in the moment where I might have more of a platform to say, it's not okay to profile people. There are families that look different ways. There are, people with different last names and all that kind of stuff. And I get that child trafficking is a real thing, and I'm not trying to minimize that.
When you were at Cal, you were sort of ahead of the curve, and I think that's why, in a lot of respects, you're so respected and you've had so much success, because you're a forward thinker on so many levels. And talk about social media and the power of it, and how you used it at Cal to promote the program, because you see everyone now, right? They do the same thing. But you did that before that was really a thing.
I think we need to sell the here and now. I think we need to sell the people. I think we need to be progressive when it comes to, you want to be part of this, because of the humans in it. And how do you do that? You got to showcase those people. So back at that time, which was it must have been 2005, it was with more still photography and media guides, right? So that, I think, had an impact.
So talk a little bit about the Final Four experience for you and your team and your coaching staff and the university, because you know as well as I do that success goes a lot further than just wins and losses, right? You don't have to get a lot of wins to be successful as a coach. But at the levels that you were coaching at, it does matter to a lot of people. Like, did LeBron call you? Did any players, even if they're from other teams, call you and say, wow, congrats?
Right. If I was a male in a Power 5 head coaching position with success, not at the risk of losing my job, the only job you take in the NBA was a head coaching job, right? Not every college coach is suited to be in the NBA, men or women. It's pretty clear, right? But whether or not they are should not be kind of determined by their gender. And then I'll tell you about the guys in this league. That's like been really clear to me, and I think it's high level elite athletes, male or female. But they what they value is, do you know your stuff? Can you make me better?
Yep.
And do you care about me as a human being? They don't care if you're male or female. And
you used to go to the Golden State Warriors practices too, right? And boy, did he kicked himself, didn't he, for not offering you the job first? What did you learn real quick about the practices or games that you went to with the Warriors? Like, I mean, there's some different personalities there, and Steve Kerr is amazing. The players there obviously are Hall of Fame players. Like, how was that experience? All right, let's get to the this or that. This is one of our fun parts of the podcast. So, books or magazines?
Well, I just got the new Obama book.
Oh wow!
Very long, so I read a little bit at a time.
Witches or wizards? Maya Moore or Diana Taurasi?
Whew.
LeBron or Jordan? Sorry, Coach. Well, Coach, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your unbelievably busy schedule to share space with us in the Sports Deli. And is there anything else that you want to share with everyone before we let you go?
I think women we're starting to do a better job of reaching out to one another, being a network to help one another. That's what the sports industry is. And so as women, I think we need to, to reach out a hand more often and lift others up. So I think it's a panel that helps, people who are striving to be in this business.
Yeah, we definitely want to change the narrative. Vicki Johnson just got the head coaching job with the Dallas Wings, right? So awesome. Glad that happened. Yeah. So, and across the NBA. And what else do you want to share with everyone? Any words of wisdom? We want to wish you the best of luck, with the season, and obviously everyone's doing what they can to stay safe. And just remarkable, your journey, and I can't wait to continue to follow you and see where it leads you to.
Got it. But thank you for having me. This has been great. Really, really good stuff to talk about.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck and have a great rest of the day.
See you soon. Stay in touch.
Take care. All right. Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Coach. Bye.
Bye.
We can't thank Lindsay Gottlieb, assistant basketball coach with the Cleveland Cavaliers, enough for coming and spending some time with us here in the Sports Deli. Remember, you can send us an email to thesportsdeli@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram @Mike Hootner or on Twitter @Michael Hootner. And until next time, we genuinely appreciate you listening to the interview with Lindsay Gottlieb from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And until next time, mask up, Black Lives Matter. Peace.